So, just be aware, guys. I'm still processing all the information I just got from this series. Regardless, no ifs, ands, or buts about this. The Undertaker is the greatest of all time. Undertaker, The Last Ride is a very special 5-part miniseries that pulls back the curtain on the professional wrestling industry like it never has done before. This is a very special documentary series on the WWE Network right now, and it follows Mark Calaway, better known as The Undertaker, behind the scenes over a span of 3 years as he explores different feuds with multiple different opponents, old and new, ultimately to find closure at the close of his legendary career in the professional wrestling business that spans over 3 decades. So, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of his story before I get into my thoughts on the series as a whole. Growing up watching professional wrestling, I've been watching this stuff since 2002. And the one constant over these last 18 years has always been The Undertaker. And it's crazy to think that he had been in the WWE alone for 12 years when I started watching. When I first encountered him, he was this big evil version of his American badass persona riding out on his motorcycle. And needless to say, I was transfixed. I always found his knack for storytelling just to be so incredible. Regardless of where the character was, the Undertaker character was so well protected throughout his entire 30-year tenure in the WWE, as shown in this documentary. Mark Calaway kept acting the gimmick through the public appearances, and this 5-part documentary peeled back the curtains a little bit more, and Mark Calaway got to show us a very different, more personal side to him than we're used to. This documentary even gave us some really funny behind the scenes moments, which really shocked me. My personal favorite that they showed us was during the build to their fight against DX in Saudi Arabia a couple years back. You get The Undertaker on one side, right? And you get his brother Kane on the other side, played by current Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, by the way. And Kane's like, DX, you've got 3 words for us. Well, we have 3 words for you. And The Undertaker, still in his persona, in character, he's like, go f*** yourself. I busted up when I saw that the first time. Just priceless. Take all my money, dead man. Like I said, professional wrestling has fascinated me for 18 years, but what fascinates me even more about the business is looking behind the scenes, how all these shows and these pay-per-views come together. And we have never gotten a documentary like this about The Undertaker because Mark Calaway was so protective of keeping the mystique of that character alive. And I gotta tell you, despite the ups and downs that we were seeing on camera with The Undertaker's character, the behind-the-scenes stuff with him was so fascinating. And as the series builds, and as we get each new episode, I felt that frustration within him just start to boil. You get the disappointment of his Mania 33 main event with Roman Reigns, and the following year at 34 against John Cena, only getting 3 minutes despite his extra preparation for it. We also get looks at the disastrous matches at the 2 straight Saudi Arabia shows against the DX and Goldberg. And as time went on, I really felt that frustration within him growing and growing, looking for that perfect send-off. And I really felt that for him. I wanted him to be at peace. No pun intended, of course. And that's where the finale comes in. The series finale, which aired last Sunday especially, and this whole documentary in general. I'm convinced that this is the best documentary piece that WWE has ever put out. Now, Taker was comfortable with the tag team match at Extreme Rules last year. He was comfortable with that being his send-off, but the potential for a dream match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36 was on the table, and it was simply something he couldn't pass up on. But then COVID-19 happens, and WWE covers COVID-19 and the pandemic in general, and it's the deepest they've addressed it. And Taker explains how weird of a situation it is. But he also leaves us with a great message about the current situation we're living in. As much as the world sucks right now, anytime we're given a chicken hand, he says for us to do our best to turn that into chicken salad. And boy, did he. I got 2 words for you guys. Boneyard match. If anybody has not seen the Boneyard match yet, this is my match of the year in WWE so far. I recommend you check it out right now. The behind the scenes of the Boneyard match was something that I was really looking forward to seeing, and it was really, really cool to see all that transformation going down. And I gotta tell you also, the personal stuff that The Undertaker was going through behind the scenes, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but man, I felt the tears start welling up, guys. I had no idea that he was going through the stuff that he was during the filming of the Boneyard match. Just super, super raw emotion there. And I will also say that the highlights of the Boneyard match to For Whom the Bell Tolls, sheesh, something I never knew I needed. And then right at the end of it, after all the highlights are done, The Undertaker's on his motorcycle. He rides off into the night, and then that's where he drops the bombshell where I started getting really emotional. Taker essentially announces his retirement. Riding off into the night on his motorcycle is very symbolic in his eyes. He has no real desire to return to the ring. Very satisfied with this Boneyard match. He is looking forward to his future and spending time with his family, which I think is very well deserved for him. He has gone through the ringer and back in his career. All the injuries that he's accumulated, very well deserved, and I wish him all the best going forward. He did say never though, but I will say that he should only step back into the ring if he really, really wants to. If the Boneyard match was Taker's last match though, he could not have asked for a more perfect send-off. Even though that's where I was kind of expecting this series going with that title, The Last Ride, and just all the information that the series was giving me and the frustration that he was feeling, I kind of expected that to be where it was going, but it didn't stop the emotion from coming out. It didn't take away from the impact of that announcement for me. I mean, this is one of my childhood icons and one of my heroes, essentially riding off into the sunset after 30 years in the WWE. He is essentially the godfather of the professional wrestling industry. There will never be another. This is, in my opinion, the best documentary piece the WWE has ever produced. It's 5 parts on the WWE Network. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out right now. In general, it's really great seeing that behind the scenes aspect, but the curtain was pulled back like never before, like I said, because The Undertaker was all about keeping the kayfabe, as the saying goes. And in my opinion, this is the greatest WWE superstar of all time. I'm very honored to have been able to watch him for as long as I have. I'm honored that I got to see him wrestle live at WrestleMania 31. What an emotional ride indeed. Thank you so much to The Undertaker for all of his sacrifices and all the memories that he's created over this time, and I truly wish him all the best. There truly has never been anyone quite like The Undertaker before, and I guarantee you there never will be again. Guys, thank you so much as always for checking out the video. If you like what you saw today, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. And I'm also curious, what are your guys' favorite Undertaker matches or moments? Go ahead and leave those thoughts down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. You guys rock. Thanks again for tuning in. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.